everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I think you're going to get some wonderful information that can really make a difference to the 2023 holiday season for you. I sure hope so. I'm Rita Wolfson, the founder of Financial Social Work. With us today is Linda Benjamin, our Financial Social Work Relationship Manager, and Olga Patanen, who is just all things set and certainly all things wonderful. We're happy to have both of them with us, and I'm happy to have you with us also. And so just some housekeeping here. If there's any messages, they'll be in a chat box. The most popular question is, are the slides shared? And they are not, because they are proprietary, but you will receive the recording, and the recording will be up on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and other places too in the next few days. You can certainly type your questions into the question box, and we'll answer as many as time permits at the end of the presentation. There are no CEs or certificates of attendance for this webinar. And if you have any technical problems, we're not going to be able to help you with it, but you can go to this link. We're so glad you're here because it's really important to me that my work impact everyone personally and professionally. So you'll learn lots of things to improve your own lives, as well as adding new tools to your client toolbox. When we talk about money, it brings up a lot of things, different things for each of us. So I like to start by asking everyone to sit up straight, put your feet on the floor, and take a deep breath in at a count of 4, and hold it for 4, and release it for 4. And I always start with our financial social work affirmation. It goes, just for today, I will love myself enough to face my fears, practice self-acceptance, and embrace hope. Silence my inner critic, speak my truth, and make peace with self, and certainly would pass. And just for today, I will give myself permission to eliminate toxic people, beliefs, and behaviors from my life, and I will prepare for a better tomorrow by healing my relationship with my money and myself today. I really believe that our affirmation captures the essence of my work. So to get started, we're going to have you join in. Do you think that this is the best time of the year? So, what do you like best about this time of the year? Let's share our answers in the question box, and Linda will share them with the rest of us. So, what do you like most? What do you like least about this time of year?
And operators are standing by. Okay, thank you, Nicole. Nicole says being with family.
Good, yeah, makes sense.
Best I like about it, decorations.
For sure, right?
Family together, cost of presents. That sounds like best family gatherings and eating rich food.
Nobody wants to share what they like least?
Anybody else? Watching movies, good times, spending money. Best I like family. Least I hate spending money.
True, right? All right.
Good times, family time, laughter, and good times.
Well, sounds like a lot of people in our audience have a good holiday. That's
And
wonderful.
the pressure it places on those that don't have disposable income. The thing I like least is the anxiety over gift giving.
Yep. A lot of people say that's the most stressful part, trying to figure out what to give.
Let it
So,
snow, the change in seasons. I love time
mm,
with family, but spending money is hard.
it's hard. And you're going to see that many people plan to spend much less this year. We're going to do a couple of things. We're going to look at an overview of this holiday season. We're going to look at helpful tips. I have a lot to share with you. So we'll keep going. Think about this. You don't have to answer it, but how much influence do you think the political environment has on your spending? Just give you a few seconds to think about it, and then I'm going to share what I think about it. So, our spending depends on our feelings about and our confidence in the economy. It often reflects the degree to which we feel the economy is strong or weak. And it also relies on our impressions of the politicians running the country and the economy. And even though we mostly don't realize it or we're busy avoiding the reality, politics and politicians are woven into our lives, our awareness, and certainly into our behavior, and especially our financial behavior, because our spending is the foundation upon which financial problems, stress, trauma are all initiated. And in turn, our spending also contributes to our physical, mental, emotional, social well being. So, we're going to take a look just for a minute or two at financial literacy because it's such an important part of how we spend. So, I have lots of statistics here for you, but the one that I've highlighted most of all in the box says that in 2021's Americans reported losing an average of $1,389 because of a lack of personal finance knowledge. And if you've joined us before, you know that I often talk about how we continue to raise generation after generation of Americans who are financially illiterate. And this is just a terrible idea. And we see here that millennials have the most debt of any generation. And that adults, it's just a lot of, you know, interesting information. Gen X is at least hopeful about their finances. And I think that we can't always appreciate where another quote unquote generation is coming from or how they're feeling or thinking about their finances. But I thought this presented a really good overview kind of quickly. Now, again, if you've spent time with us before, you know I am not a huge proponent of buy now, pay later. But I thought that by sharing these different pieces of BNPL, it might really just give you a greater awareness of how harmful it can be. 72% of BNPL users who have fallen behind on payments report seeing a decrease in their credit score. And every year, in case you don't know it, we have the Director of Education from Experian, which is a consumer reporting agency. Every year he does an update for us. Those are all recorded on our website. under resources, and we've talked about buy now, pay later with him before, because when you pay late, you really pay for it. 25% of survey respondents said their total debt increased after using this. And part of the reason is because there's no simple way to keep track of the various payment plans that you've taken out. So when you have multiple plans, they can get out of hand. And here you see 25% of users reported struggling to keep track of their spending due to managing loans from multiple providers. And larger payments can add financial stress. 30% of the NPL users voiced having struggled with making payments on time and causing them to skip essential bill payments. What was interesting about this is that I took these graphics and stats from this company you can see called Purchasing Power. And they're actually, what they're doing on that website is promoting their own pay now, buy later, because they give you 12 months instead of 3 to 4 months. None of them are helpful and none of them are going to be good for your mental health or your finances. So it does seem, I spend a lot of time reading a lot of articles to prepare this webinar, and it does seem that the number one thing, well, the number one thing is you're going to see people are going to spend less. But the things that they're really looking for are the deals and promotions on that graph at the bottom. But they really do want free shipping, so right? They want product availability and expedited shipping. And bargain hunting consumers like to make sure their products are well reviewed and on sale before making a purchase. So, how much do you think most Americans are planning to spend on gifts this holiday? However, before I open that poll, how about some of you share with us in the question box, what's the dollar range you plan on spending on gifts this year? Again, we're just talking gifts here, not all of the other expenses. And there are many ancillary expenses. So I am going to
Okay.
Anybody sharing? Lynn?
Yeah, we have someone who's going to spend 500, 150, 250, 600, 500, 800 total, 500, max 150, 800, 800 to 1200.
Okay.
800 total, and that's about around, and 500 and 500 and 2000 for the entire family, and another 600 and 250.
Well, the good news with people sharing is that I hope that means you've already figured that out and have this plan to stay on track with that budget. But what we're going to do right now is launch our first poll. It's launched, right? Yep. And this is, the question is, what do you think? Because I'm going to give you the answer that most people are planning to spend this holiday season. Okay. About 40-some% of you have voted. Let's get a few more. All right. We're over 60%. And again, I see many different statistics, but the one I'm about to share with you seemed like the most popular. Wow, thanks everybody. 73% of you have voted. I'll give you 3 seconds more if you want to still vote. And that's 3, 2, 1. Great. Let's close it and I'll share the results with you. Okay. And now I will, everybody can see the results, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to hide those and I'm going to go to the next slide. That will tell you that the average is between $500 and $600. And look, you can see that that's down from last year when it was $612. And so the top 3 retailers for holiday shopping, Amazon, Walmart, and Target. You can see the social media platforms that people are turning to for inspiration. And even though I'm not a believer in any way, shape, or form in buy now, pay later, I certainly am a believer in layaway. But I don't think we do very much layaway anymore. But I thought I would share this list of stores with you. And so we're talking about overspending guilt today and post-holiday remorse syndrome. So what is holiday overspending guilt? Over a third of Americans say their stress increases during the holiday season, and it contributes to physical, mental, and emotional illness, depression, anxiety, and substance misuse. And the reasons given are lack of time, financial pressure, gift giving, and family gatherings. It sounds like our audience, actually, though, based on some of the responses to some of the questions earlier on, are in better shape than a lot of the others that I'm reading about in all my research. And then we have post-holiday remorse syndrome. What does that look like? Well, a syndrome is a set of concurrent things, such as emotions or actions that usually form an identifiable pattern. And remorse syndrome is a strong feeling of guilt and regret about something you have done. And sometimes that happens close to the purchase, and other times it happens later on when the bills are coming in. But it's often problematic, and it often looks like DEBT with the big red bow on it. So, next poll. How many Americans do you think have more debt than savings? Okay. Okay. We do have a very strong opinion on this. Very interesting. I love doing polls. I love hearing from our audience. I love when you're involved. Okay. We're going to go ahead and count to 3, 2, 1. Close the poll. Thank you for voting. We had 74% who voted. And you can see that you all think people have an awful lot more debt than savings. Okay, so let's check that out. 1 in 2 Americans have more debt than savings. That's a pretty stunning number. At least I think so. So the average American in 2023, again, you see all kinds of statistics, but this 21,800 in personal debt rings pretty true. 35% of Americans reported they're in the most debt of their lives. And it's younger generations that are really struggling, especially with the student loan debt. Unfortunately, student debt is not a problem that's about to disappear anytime soon, unfortunately. So those with personal debts at an average 30% of their monthly income goes to paying it off. And nearly half said they expect to pay off their debt within 1 to 5 years, but almost 40% expect it to take longer, perhaps even a lifetime. That's a long time. So this, I just got this today and thought I would share it with you. More than 1 in 3 Americans are foregoing gifts this year due to inflation. 50% people say Santa will be less generous. And 1 in 5 people say they'll apply for a new credit card to help with holiday shopping. That's problematic for lots of reasons, whether or not you can even get a credit card. But look at the statistic in the bottom box on the left. Nearly 1 in 4 Americans still have holiday debt from last year. So I had asked Linda this morning if she thought people didn't like to come to my webinars because I share some very startling statistics, but it is a reality, and I can't forego the opportunity to share this information and hope that it makes an impression and will, prevent you from getting into financial problems. And this is just from today also. We have more credit card debt today than ever in history. But if you look at the chart, you'll see how heavily invested we are in mortgage payments. And then you have home equity lines of credit, auto loans, and that yellow line is credit cards. A lot of debt. So at the holidays, now we're going to get into some more proactive behavior. We're going to talk about what kind of a shopper are you? So why do we need to know that? Because it has a really, really significant impact on your spending. So the early bird shopper begin their holiday buying by the end of October. And they get it right because they have a plan and they spread their purchases over several months. And that definitely reduces stress. Then we have the overspender. Over half of holiday shoppers expect to feel financially burdened this year. So if you're an overspender, review your credit and debit card statements from last holiday season. See if you have any regrets about how generous you were. See what else you can learn from those statements about your spending. And certainly consider whether you're still paying off that debt, because there's real lessons to learn if you are. And of course, the average credit card rate was not this high last year. So if you have debt, you should consider cutting your budget by 50%. But most people have a hard time really figuring out how to reduce their holiday budgeting by that much, but at least give yourself a percentage that you're cutting back on. A two-for shopper, I found this very Interesting. You see a pretty sweater for your sister, and you feel you should have one just like it. You're buying things for the kids. You want one for yourself too. You can upgrade that mobile phone. But unless you have a strong emergency fund, no other credit card debt, and you're already saving for retirement, stop splurging on yourself while holiday shopping for others. The bargain hunter. Are Black Friday and Cyber Monday the best days of the year for you? Do you think you were born to shop and save? Well, you've probably seen, everybody, that for over a week or two now, it's early Black Friday sale, early Cyber Monday sale. So it will be interesting to see how strong those are on those dates, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But here's the sad truth. You never save when you spend money. That's important to understand. Buying something on sale doesn't mean you're saving. You're just spending less money. Okay? The bargain hunter again. These two authors are very well known in the field of behavioral economics, and they talk about the fact that most sales, and I just mentioned early Black Friday sales, early Cyber Monday sales, most of those sales are just bait. They say that when we see a sale, we shouldn't consider what the price used to be or how much we're saving. Rather, we should consider what we're going to spend, because most people do not pay the full price on most items. So those are kind of bogus discounts. So buying a $60 shirt marked down from $100 really isn't saving $40. It's spending $60. Then we have the last minute shopper. Procrastination leads to poor buying decisions. The rush to get done makes you more susceptible to overspending. When you're tired and feeling desperate, you have to find something. If you like the challenge of the last minute bargains, you should know panic shopping is almost guaranteed to encourage overspending. So, I think this is the last time, but let's go ahead in the question box. Which kind of shopper did you identify as? I thought this had value because I think you then have a chance to rethink your spending. Any brave souls sharing, Linda?
Oh, yeah, we've got twofer, guilty. I think that's very cautious, especially within the last few years. Very early bird.
I'm more early bird than anything else. Although I do like a bargain. Anybody else?
That's about it.
Okay. What are you, Linda?
Oh, I'm a bargain. I'm a bargain hunter.
Me too.
I'm a bargain. I won't pay full price for anything.
Me too. Okay. So if and when you do have problems resulting from holiday spending, here's some more traditional ideas. And we're not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on these, but you will be able to go back if you want to and watch it on the video. But what worked and didn't in the past year, again, we just talked about that. Learn from what you did right and what you did wrong last year. Budgeting throughout the year and buying things on sale throughout the year is a great way to be ahead of the whole holiday gift giving season. Pay off holiday debt using the snowball principle. And that's when you pay off your credit card debt that has the highest interest first. And what about those gift cards? Do you have some lying around? If you do, be sure to use them. I'll tell you what, I think I have some that I need to look for. And here's one other set of suggestions on how to recover from holiday debt. People do a no spending month, and I think January is a pretty popular one. This is a good list, and you can get some good ideas from it. Transferring credit card balances for holiday recovery. You definitely want to be careful when you do that. And taking a personal loan because of how high interest rates are on credit cards, you could possibly have a lower interest rate with a personal loan. But you always want to spend time thinking through these decisions. So those were more traditional suggestions. But now we're going to look at less traditional, but more helpful suggestions and advice on staying mentally healthy at the holidays. So, how to stay mentally and physically healthy at the holiday. Use those old gift cards. Honor a loved one's memory. Reject random gift exchanges that you don't have to be part of. Reevaluate, and prioritize your gift list. I think a lot of people will really be doing that more this year, possibly than ever before. Plan holiday spending ahead of time. That's why I was so happy when people shared that they knew how much they planned to spend on gifts for the holidays when we did that question earlier on. And also, let's just keep going. Limit shopping time, in person or online. Give yourself a time frame and stick within that time frame, because the more you're shopping, the more you're spending. Create new, less expensive ways to celebrate. Anybody think of any new or less expensive ways to celebrate that you'd like to share with us in the question box? Feel free, we could all use them, but I'll keep going meanwhile. Okay, instead of giving a gift, donate to a charity. Consider a group gift for or from family or colleagues. These are more proactive. Once we have the debt, it's reactive. And one thing certainly that financial social work focuses on is being more proactive about everything having to do with our money. Create a holiday budget and use it to track your spending. Remember, you've got gifts, but you've also got food, entertaining, wrapping, cards, decorations. That budget has to include everything. Reduce your entertaining plans along with your party acceptances. Again, proactively avoiding spending. Discuss with your family and children how and why this holiday may or will be different. Again, very proactive, but if there are reasons that this holiday will be different, it is much healthier and more helpful to talk about it ahead of time. Be prepared for it. Don't allow others to intimidate, shame, or guilt you or question your gift choices. They're your choices, no one else's. They belong to you. Protect yourself by monitoring payment accounts, gas stations, ATMs for tampering. This isn't probably the first thing anybody's thinking about when they're filling up their gas tank or going to the ATM. But we do know for a fact that people tamper with these machines. So give yourself permission to put yourself first and do what needs done to take care of yourself at this traditionally stressful time of the year. Give yourself permission to change your mind, certainly to not build debt, to choose time over money, to ask for help when you need it, to not take on more than you can handle. Now, there's a good one, as in NO, it period, one complete sentence, just the word no. Limit caffeine and alcohol consumption, and by all means, do whatever you can to avoid toxic or unkind family and friends during the holiday season or during any season. Give yourselves the gift of time to build new traditions that cost less but mean more. The gift of time to plan how to spend less and enjoy more of your holidays. The gift of time to reconnect with those you love and with the true spirit of the season. And the gift of time to find new, different, less expensive ways to demonstrate your feelings for the people who matter to you. Set personal and financial boundaries. Stick to them. Own them. Practice relaxation techniques as needed. Stay present and realistic about the holidays. You know they're a long time coming, but a very short time lasting. So be realistic. Have a worry jar and schedule time when you use it. And after you put your worries in it, let it go. Just let your worries go. Volunteer to help others who are less fortunate. And we know there are many people who are less fortunate. Only spend time with positive, supportive people. Keep a stress journal and schedule time to write in it. Release that stress. Make a list of low cost, no cost activities you can participate in. And focus on what has and is right in your life, not on what is wrong in your life. So, in case you're new to financial social work, we would like you to know why we do these monthly free webinars and we do everything that we do. This is one of my favorite graphics of all time because all of our thoughts, feelings, attitudes, beliefs, values, all of that begins when we're little children. And that's where our money story begins. Financial social work is at the intersection of traditional social work, politics, the economy, gender, racial, economic, social, climate, and other abled justice, mental health, and financial inequity. We know that no one chooses to have money problems, but most people do. So that's why we have financial social work. It is an interactive, reflective, holistic, and multidisciplinary approach that is heart-centered. It approaches money and life from a perspective of healing, acceptance, courage, wellness, and honesty. It's engaging, motivational, strength-based. Oh, must be very motivational. I have it twice. And at the core of my work is our relationship with money and our relationship with self. We have to recognize and take ownership of our own financial health and help clients to do the same. And that's with relationship with self. It's about self-discovery, self-care, and self-healing. So we have thousands of financial social workers who are graduates across the country and around the world. Iceland, Japan, China, Australia, England, Finland, Israel, Africa, Canada, and I'm sure there are other countries also. So as we wind down here and try to get to your questions, and I hope you have some, we have some additional resources for you. We want you to know about our Client Financial Wellness Magazine. It is a 12-month program, and for one set fee, you can share this 12-month program 1 month at a time with your clients. And it's an excellent way to bring financial education, financial literacy to all of the people who really could use it. Very simple to deliver at scale within your organization. And it does provide a playbook your staff can follow for consistent care and results. And we do have a promotion of $100 off. We now have our wonderful financial social work directory. You can also find that on our website. You can see financial social workers who are already listed in it. And for one low cost payment, you can list yourself or your organization as a client resource. Next month, our monthly free webinar is on financial trauma, coping, and healing with it. And in January, to start the new year, I will be doing we have a guest speaker next month, but I'll be the speaker in January, and we'll be dealing with your money story. And it's going to be one of the best webinars ever. I recommend you register. Those are both up on our website now. If you're new to financial social work, all of this year we did pay what you can, so that if you couldn't afford the full price of $695, you could choose from these four options. That will be ending on November 30th. So if you would like to get the certification, and it does include 20 CEUs from National NASW, and that's the cover of the 5 different workbooks. They are very interactive, reflective, beautiful. Our students have 6 months to complete the certification. It is self-study and self-paced. It includes all the materials plus the final exam and plus an attractive certificate. And there is a 3-year renewal. So finally, I share with you these final thoughts because I can never resist the opportunity to talk to you about the fact that no one chooses to have money problems, but most people do. The good news is that no one can or needs to know everything about money, but everyone needs to know certain things about money. And if we ever have any hope for greater financial health and wellness, We do have to prepare our children for the real world by teaching them about money. And we have to always, always pay attention to the connection between money and mental health. It is incredibly real and important. When we talk about money, what are we really talking about? Certainly safety and security, survival. Money means something different to each of us, but often when we're talking about money, we are talking about power, because those who have the power, or those who have the money, have the power. And I guess the reverse is true too. Those who have the power have the money. Never stop working to make peace and make friends with your money. There exists too strong a relationship between finances and suicide that shouldn't and doesn't have to be a death sentence. Always choose life. And everyone has a relationship with money and with self, and most need healed. Healing your relationship with yourself takes time, honesty, less self-criticism, and more self-love. And healing your relationship with your money begins with your thoughts, feelings, attitudes, values, and experiences with money. That is that psychosocial piece. And this is our final slide. And I am hoping that we have some questions we can answer. Any questions, anybody?
Well, yes, from our early birders, bargain hunters, twofers, we do have a question. Rita, could you please clarify the snowball method? I'm not sure I'm not sure if it's paying off the smallest balance first.
You know, let me see. I can't do that. I was going to try and get back to that slide. Can I get back to that slide? It should be right here. Okay, start by listing the balances, interest rate, and minimum payment on each credit card or personal loan that you have. This would also work well by including any buy now, pay later purchases that you make. Because if you listed them with the interest rate and the minimum payment and the date that it's due, it would be very helpful, much more helpful for you to stay on top of what you owe. Pay more than the minimum on your account with the highest interest rate first. Once it's paid off, add the amount from that payment to the payment for the account with the next highest rate. Using the snowball principle, you will be able to pay off your holiday debt faster and accumulate less interest. I've heard that the snowball principle was to pay off your smallest debt first. So I understand the confusion. I personally / professionally would always pay off the debt with the highest interest first, because that's the debt that's costing you the most. So we'll go back to the end. Any other questions, I hope?
Yes, we do. Our early birds, bargain hunters, twofers, and overspenders do have one more question. And that is, I have completed the certification. I'm a graduate. How do I get listed in the directory?
Great question. Email me. You see my email right there, rita@financialsocialwork.com, and we will send you the paperwork. And if you go to the website, you will see the heading for the directory, and it also has a link for getting into the directory. But email me at rita@financialsocialwork.com and tell me that you were on this call and or on this webinar, and I will get you a special price.
Oh, okay, very good.
I'll do that
We
for anybody else on the call also.
Perfect, beautiful. I think that's about it. I will tell you, and thank you to everybody. This has really resonated with people, and there's lots of thank yous pouring in. Hold on, there's one more question. If I take advantage of the financial certification renewal offer, does the 3-year renewal occur after my certification expires? I think my certification expires in April of 2024. Would my certification be renewed until April of 2027?
You do not have to. Do not even consider renewing before it comes due. And when it does come due, you will receive a notice and a discount. So you don't have to worry about that now. I'm glad you asked the question. Thank you. And we love having you at the webinar and as a graduate. Anything else?
A comment here. The debt avalanche method involves making minimum payments on all debt and using any extra funds to pay off the debt with the highest interest rate. The debt snowball method involves making minimum payments on all debt, then paying off the smallest debts before moving on to the bigger ones.
Yeah, I never went along with that. But I
Okay.
get it.
Okay. Lots of thank yous, lots of folks telling you that this has really resonated with them and how much they appreciate your practicality.
Well, I learned a lot from putting it together myself, and I enjoyed sharing it with everyone. So I thank you for taking the time out of your busy days. We don't often finish early enough to do Q&A, so I'm glad we were able to. And I hope we'll see you back here many more times in the coming months and years. Thanks, everybody. Stay well, and we'll hope to see you soon. Bye now.